It's how you treat your people. That's going to determine how they're going to treat your clients. If you bring them in, right, and you make them feel like part of your team, they're going to be part of your team and they're going to be contributing a lot more than they might not. The line that brings us together is much stronger than the line that can separate us. So honestly, that we care, because we do. We really care, because we know we're making a difference. You have to have a strong culture. You have to drive with the right core values. We are a mission-driven company. We have to be, again, very intentional about that. If you're not pushing your culture or your core values, there still will be a culture. It's just not one that's designed by you. No one is hired in the company without really hearing the core values and understanding what they mean. If we're leading with compassion and with service, they're going to do the same for our clients. Don't think of them as a cog in a wheel or just someone who's going to crunch numbers, because if you do, that's what they'll be.
Welcome to the Culture from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. In a business world where employees and customers crave authenticity and trust, hosts Larry Levine and Darrell are on a mission to find and showcase heart-centered executives and the companies they lead. You are about to hear an inspiring conversation with a visionary leader that's bringing heart into the workplace, empowering employees, serving their clients, and uplifting communities, all to create true success. This is Culture from the Heart. The movement starts here. Let's begin.
Welcome to Culture from the Heart. I'm your co-host, Darrell, here today with Larry Levine, and we're joined in the studio by Andrew Cohen. He's the co-founder and CEO of Work Better Now, where they are helping companies and talent fulfill their dreams and potential. Andrew, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. It's great to be here. It's good to see you guys.
Always great. Always great seeing my friend Andrew.
Yeah, always a blast. And as we get started, Andrew, the question we ask every leader on Culture from the Heart is simply this: what does Culture from the Heart mean to you?
Yeah, we're really intentional about our culture at Work Better Now, and we're driving our people to be their best. We want to give them the opportunity to grow, to learn, and I feel like if we're leading with compassion and with service, they're going to do the same for our clients. Again, it's how you treat your people. That's going to determine how they're going to treat your clients. And so we really are intentional about our core values and our culture at Work Better Now.
Hey, this is good stuff, Andrew. And you touched on core values. Help share with our audience the core values at Work Better Now and how that really gets integrated throughout your organization.
Yeah, that's a great point. So when we first came up with our core values, we're on EOS, and one of the first things you do there is really write down your core values and how you want to sort of lead the company. The first is we put our certified professionals first. So that's the number one core value. Every decision we make, we keep them in mind. How are we going to provide them with the best atmosphere and culture from our company so they can work with our clients as well? So it's putting our talent first. We all pursue excellence. I know it's, you say that, but we're really driving to help our people be their best. So we do a lot of continuous learning. We have a WBN Academy where we're constantly upskilling. Integrity and transparency, which to me is having these hard conversations and being open and honest. We have an ownership mentality where you're owning everything you do from start to finish, and pursuit of growth. You guys know that Work Better Now has been growing at an unbelievable pace. And what does that mean? That means things change all the time. You have to be open to that change. You have to embrace it. You have to be adaptable. And so that's part of our core values. And of course, when Rob and I started this company, we said we want to work with people that we really, really like. And so you have to have an excellent attitude. We spend so much time at work that we want to surround ourselves with people that are positive and energetic and passionate like we are. And then how do we use this? Every Monday we have a company meeting, and now we have about 45 or 50 people in the company. And we give out what's called a W award. And that's any person in our company can nominate another person in the company for portraying one of our core values and going above and beyond. And so we really like to recognize and push how valuable following these our company culture and following the core values is.
I love that. I love that concept of storytelling. I'm curious if you can remember and are open to be able to share a story of how that unfolded recently, just in terms of bringing that up, because I think that's such a beautiful idea of sharing those stories with your team.
Yeah, we just had Sebastian in our IT department. We were rolling out a new model, so a new customer success model. And Sebastian had to work over the weekend and really put in long hours and in order to roll out this new model that we were going to instill. And someone on our talent partner team, which takes care of our clients, was like, I have to recognize Sebastian for putting in all this time and effort above and beyond what is a normal scope of his job. And when the rest of the team understands how Sebastian went out of his way and really put in that extra effort, they understand that, hey, maybe I want to put that extra effort in too, and I want to be part of this great company and great culture.
Love it.
Hey, Andrew, how are you cascading this message? I like this. How are you cascading this message out throughout your organization? Because I know you're in a really unique environment. So how do you cast this out so everyone recognizes how to integrate these core values so somebody can get honored?
Well, we start at the hiring. So no one is hired in the company without really hearing the core values and understanding what they mean. It starts at the very beginning, but we all know that for people to really remember them and to soak them up, it needs to be repeated all the time. So we are constantly talking about them in all of our L10s, which are our EOS meetings. We're talking about them in our Monday meetings with the entire team, where we're recognizing people for them. It's a constant effort to talk about our core values and our culture. It has to be intentional. It can't be something that is an afterthought. And they say, if you're not pushing your culture or your core values, there still will be a culture. It's just not one that's designed by you.
Yeah. Boy, that is so true. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to continue this great discussion with Andrew Cohen at Work Better Now. Let's be honest, finding the right people and building the right culture, that's the holy grail for every leader.
That's why we recommend Titus Talent, because they don't just fill seats. They help you build teams that thrive.
With their partnership plans, you get more than just hiring help. You get a committed team by your side that helps you attract top performers and retain them.
They bring strategy, data, and a human touch to talent optimization. No guesswork, just results.
So if you're ready to invest in your people and create a culture where everyone wins, head over to culturefromtheheart.com/talent to learn more.
That's culturefromtheheart.com/talent. Your culture is your competitive advantage. Design it with Titus Talent.
We hope you enjoyed that message. Let's get back to our conversation with Andrew Cohen, CEO at Work Better Now. Andrew, I appreciate the intentionality. It's obvious the intentionality that you put into the culture in your organization. And I think what's really unique, maybe not quite so unique anymore with distributed workforces and remote work. I mean, you truly have a workforce that's distributed across a massive geography, several different continents and all of that. So let's talk a little bit more about the intentionality and how you look at this in terms of what can we do to build a culture when everybody is so far apart.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have, again, 45 or 50 people working on our team directly. We're in, I think, 15 different countries, and we all work remote, everyone. And so we really had to think, how are we going to build culture in such a remote environment? And again, it starts with how we communicate with each other and our core values and our meeting tempos and things of that. But we've also brought in outside companies to run, get-togethers, online get-togethers, and set up meetings where we're going to not discuss work, but discuss personal things and play games together and have talent shows. I mean, really, we've tried to think outside the box on how we're going to bring people together and create a culture of togetherness. So it's been very, very intentional. And we've also called on outside companies to come and help us with that, with this team bonding experience.
Hey, and just to let the cat out of the bag, we get a sneak peek into this because Work Better Now is near and dear to us. So when you look back at the whole inspiration behind all of this and why it's so important to bring your core values in throughout your organization, what was the inspiration between you and Rob to ensure that this gets integrated throughout the whole company? There has to be some inspiration behind this.
Well, when Rob and I started this company, we were we saw a need that our friends, who are all business owners, needed talent. And then we were like, okay, we're going to fill this talent, right? There's an opportunity here. And they're friends of ours, and we're like, let's fill this opportunity. Rob had a virtual assistant at the time. What I didn't realize was going to happen was when we started finding talent in Latin America, how the shift changed to, I want to provide these people with the best experience they can get. And then it became such a personal mission on both sides, because we're providing our friends at that point in the very beginning. So we know we really want to help. That's, again, serve first. And then the stories of these amazing people that we're meeting in Latin America and the opportunities that we're giving them that they might not have in their own countries, it just felt like all of this came together. And it said, our number one core value, put our talent first. And so with that, they're gonna put our clients first. And the whole ball together really screams, you have to have a strong culture. You have to drive with the right core values. We are a mission-driven company. And so, we have to be, again, very intentional about that.
Well, we certainly have experienced that and been the beneficiary of that. So thank you. And you can feel that, the intentionality of the culture you're creating. And that's super meaningful, because I think what's interesting as well is in your dynamic where you're providing talent to organizations like ours and many organizations of all different industries and cultures, that your talent, has the culture. People on your team have the culture of Work Better Now, and then they also live inside a culture of an organization that they may be assigned to or serving at that point. Once again, very, very interesting dynamics there. I'm just curious more of your thoughts on what goes on inside the mind of Andrew Cohen when you're thinking about how do you architect all this and make this consistent?
Yeah, that's another great question. So we have about 550 certified professionals working for our clients.
Mm-hmm.
We're very intentional about the clients that we bring in to work with our certified professionals. So, there has to be a fit between our client and our mission as well. So that's really important to understand.
Yeah.
When we're selling, we have to sell to the right client. We don't want to, we're not just filling roles, taking a square peg and putting it in a round hole. We have, the culture from within, and how does that sort of lead to all of our certified professionals? We have these success coaches or talent coordinators that meet with our certified professionals, and they talk about work, about their personal lives. They really get to know each other. It's about listening, right? We have to lead with listening to someone else, understanding what pains they're going through. How can we help them with that? It's really, again, coming down to service. We also do, in all of our countries that we have these certified professionals, we do get-togethers twice a year where we're actually bringing them together trying to create a community within their own country
Mm-hmm.
where other certified professionals are, where they can meet and talk and discuss and feel like part of a team. And then, of course, we do online get-togethers as well. We do meditation classes, talent shows. We're doing everything we can to bring everyone together and create community when sometimes it may be difficult because we're so far apart.
Yeah.
Hey, Darrell, you know what's interesting about this is as I started listening to what Andrew was saying, I see how their core values at Work Better Now are directly being integrated inside of our company because our Work Better Now professional has that serve first mentality, which is one of your core values, Andrew.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. And so what else, if I walked into your company, I'm just going to ask you right now, what words would you like someone who is experiencing the culture at Work Better Now, one of your clients, for example, what words would you like people to say about the organization?
Yeah, I want them to say that we care. Honestly, that we care. That because we do. We really, really care because we know we're making a difference. I want them to think that we have integrity and transparency, and that we're open to asking questions. I want them to think that we're helpful.
Yeah.
And we're serving a need that they have, and we're helping them either understand how to onboard, right? A certified someone who's working remotely, which they might not have the experience doing that. I want them to think that we're always available for questions, comments, concerns, to help. And most importantly, I want them to trust us, because if something goes wrong, I want them to know that we're there to help them make it right. And, we're dealing with people. You guys should know people are the hardest to deal with. It's not a product, it's a person. And so when we're dealing with people, there are so many variables that can come up in relationships, in their in personal lives, both ways. Yeah, I've seen it all. So, I just want our clients to know that we're there to help, and they can trust that we're going to put them first and put our certified professionals first.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. When we get back, more insights from our friend Andrew Cohen, CEO of Work Better Now.
For many CEOs, sales feels like a black box.
You've got visibility into marketing metrics, financial dashboards, operational KPIs. But when it comes to the sales team, it feels like guesswork.
That black box, it's costing you, because if you can't see what's happening, you can't fix what's broken or fuel what's working.
That's where the Sales Index steps in. It opens the black box of sales and shows you the real story. Who's thriving, who's struggling, where they need help, and how much revenue is being left on the table.
You'll get clear, actionable data on sales behavior, mindset, and team culture, so you know exactly where to invest and how to drive growth.
So stop flying blind. Go to salesindex.ai and mention Culture from the Heart for 10% off an index of your sales team.
Sales Index, because when sales stops being a black box, you start unlocking real sales results.
And we're back. Andrew, you have done an incredible job of taking your culture and spreading it across a large organization. I think you mentioned 15 countries now. And I know so many leaders are listening in that have distributed workforces, some of them across the country, some internationally. I want to think in particular about our friends who have international workforces. Now we've got a dynamic not only of the culture inside the company, but then lots of different cultures across the organization. What advice would you give to leaders who are saying, man, how do I spread this culture across such a diverse environment?
That's a great question too. You have to be cognizant that different countries have different cultures than we do. And so when I think about the culture that we want to instill, it's got to, I think of it as coming from a really good place that is sort of common ground for everyone, right? Really caring, really showing up with a positive and excellent attitude, understanding that the line that brings us together is much stronger than the line that can separate us, right? So I really think about how do we draw this line that we can all understand and move everyone towards the center of that. And again, it's constantly talking about what the culture is. It's listening to the people that work for you in these different countries and what they think of your culture. It's got to be a team play. I will tell you, inside of our company, in our different departments, there are different cultures within the departments as well, right? So it's giving people the space to work within the culture that they want to, and adapting the most important parts of what just the umbrella has in our company.
Hey, Andrew, I'm just curious, what are you learning about these cultures as you start expanding Work Better Now and you're going into these countries who have different cultures than we do here? How are you making this all work, and what are you learning? What's standing out, as you start spreading Work Better Now? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I would say in Latin America, I see a lot of passion. And they bring our professionals and our staff, they bring the passion to the job. And I love that. And I think that sometimes here we might take that for granted, but people show up and they really want to learn. I just hear all the time, we want to learn more. We want to work with you as a company so we can grow our skills. And that's part of our core value of, again, is continuous learning. And we have this Work Better Now Academy where we're constantly trying to give our professionals the opportunity to upskill, to learn new things. It's just, I see that real passion for learning in Latin America, and I love it, and I want to bring it to our people here as well.
That's so cool. Well, I know
and
many of our
probably seen that. I'm just going to say with Carmen, you guys have probably seen that as well. Like just the
amazing.
Yeah, it's been a real boost, and I think that's what's really beautiful about what you get to do is as you build the culture in your organization. And I think this is true of every organization. As we're building our culture, we're actually spreading that among our clients. It just so happens that your team members serve our clients like us in a very full-time way, if you will, a very involved way. And that brings up my next question I want to think about together. I know so many different leaders listening in have components of their staffing that's done through temporary staffing or nearshore or offshore staffing, as the case may be. And that's becoming more and more a part of today's business environment and ecosystem. If you're leading an organization that has, nearshore, offshore employees, you probably have a better word for how all of that works.
We call it remote talent.
Remote talent. Okay, so if you have remote talent in your organization, you're a leader that has remote talent, what are some things that you would say to leaders of those companies that are leaning into remote talent in terms of thinking about the culture that they're building in their organization as remote talent is part of the talent stack in their company?
Yeah, first and foremost, make them a part of your team. That's the first thing. Don't think of them as a cog in a wheel or just someone who's going to crunch numbers, because if you do, that's what they'll be. If you bring them in, right, and you make them feel like part of your team, they're going to be part of your team, and they're going to be contributing a lot more than they might not if you don't do that. So I'll give you some examples. We say when someone starts at Work Better Now, we say, what does their first day look like, right? Is it they come in and they're like, hey, fill out a bunch of forms and, read this and watch this video? Or is it, hey, I'm Andrew. I'm the CEO of the company. It's great to meet you. Thank you so much for working on our team. This is what you're going to expect. IT is going to get you up and running. So I'm going to send you over there. If you have any questions, I'm always here. They're going to go to IT, right? They're going to get all their packages set up. Then they're going to go and have meetings with everyone else in their department. Then it's got to be intentional. And so when they walk away from there, they're going to be like, oh my God, everyone at Work Better Now wants to help. And, that is the feeling I want you to have. So when you're at dinner after your first day of work and your spouse says, how was Work Better Now today? It was fantastic. I feel like I'm home. I feel like I found my place. And that's the beginning, again, of the culture that we want to build at Work Better Now.
I love it. I love it.
You know what's interesting? There's a word, and just so y'all know, I know Andrew really well. But there's one word that I just have to bring to the forefront that I would use to describe Andrew as the CEO of Work Better Now, and that's care. Because I know you truly care. And I could tell because every time we get engaged in a conversation, Andrew will take notes. But then he's also wanting to figure out what can do you got some advice, or do you got something I can do to help mix things up? And it just, the care oozes, and I can tell. I just wanted to applaud you for it. It's just a word that came to mind.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, Larry, we've had many discussions over lunch. And I think this is the most gratifying. I've been at a lot of companies. I've had a bunch of my own. This is the most gratifying opportunity I've ever had. And the amount of good that we're doing at Work Better Now it's just a life changer. So I get up with passion and care every day trying to do my best because I feel like I have a real responsibility to our clients, to our professionals, to deliver. I really feel like we're changing lives, and I just want to be the best that I can. Yeah.
Well, with that, just thank you for what you're doing, Andrew. Thank you for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us today. This has really been incredible. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
It was our pleasure. Thanks.
Such a great conversation. And, as we're wrapping this conversation up, here's what I'm thinking. Last week, we got to speak with Joe Thornton, CEO of Scooter's Coffee. I got to experience that as a customer in his drive-through over this past weekend. Obviously, we get to experience, and we're beneficiaries of the culture at Work Better Now, since we have a team member on our team from Andrew's company. And here's what I'm thinking, Larry, is what's so beautiful is the way that culture cascades outside your organization. So we've just had two CEOs of companies that, I've personally experienced and have enriched my life in different ways. But you can see how this culture is cascading down. And so I just want to say to everyone who's listening in, and if you've made it this far in the show, you probably care about your culture. We're cheering you on. We applaud you. Culture is such a powerful thing. What Andrew has coached us on today is just incredibly, incredibly valuable.
And what's interesting about both of the conversations, you bring up Joe Thornton and now the conversation we just had with Andrew, is as CEOs, they're both intentional. They're intentional with culture. They talk about it. They live it. They breathe it. It's woven in a distributed workforce. I just ask leaders to think about this conversation and how can you integrate your culture with intentionality?
So we're cheering you on. We believe that culture is the heartbeat of every organization. And as Andrew has reminded us today, it is about intentionality. So thank you for joining us today on Culture from the Heart. Until next time, lead with your heart and watch your culture thrive.
Thank you for joining us on this journey to discover heart-centered leaders shaping extraordinary company cultures. To access a leader guide with notes from this week's episode, simply click the link in the show notes or visit us at www.culturefromtheheart.com. Do you know a CEO who's built a culture from the heart? We'd love to hear their story. Head over to www.culturefromtheheart.com and click the Nominate Your CEO button. Until next time, remember, great cultures start with the heart.